Well, hello everybody. Welcome one and welcome all to the one and the only Junk Shop Library channel, home of improv Bible study, where I will get the angle of this damn thing right one of these days. Our shtick here in the library is that we read one chapter at a time of the King James Bible of 1611 because it's the one in the public domain. Hello, Paul. Welcome. And then we proceed to tear it a merciless new one because that's what it deserves. If that sounds like your bag, then you should stick around. If that sounds like something that will offend you, maybe you should stick around anyway. And give me feedback in the comments. Tell me what I've got wrong. Hi, Morton. Welcome. Linda, welcome. This is a good time of day, it seems. I don't normally go live in the morning. Crazy Catnip is in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Try to pull up my handy-dandy spare no expense second screen here and see if I can make it work today. And Santy the same. Good to see you again, Santy. Welcome, my friends. Oops, no, we don't want that. That'll give us feedback. All right, yes. Good morning to anybody to those it applies to. Good point, Santy. Exactly. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy day, happy night. Hope you are all well, staying safe in these trying and peculiar times. Before we get any further underway, I need to point to your attention. I just tried to point to it with my cursor as though you could see my screen. The crawler down at the bottom, a massive thank you to my patrons, Paul Camish and Brainbug, without whom you would not be hearing me in the delightful audio quality that you're hearing me today. I know those of you who were accustomed to me talking into my handy-dandy little microphone on my gaming headset from 10 years ago are just all shocked and confused at the thought that I have actual, honest-to-God microphone now. The mind, it boggles. And that is due, and now I've messed up the ambra of my kangle. Words are hard. The angle of my camera. That seems to be better. Good, good, good. All righty. Yes, it is evening for Paul. It's coming on nighttime for the Danes. And it's 11 a.m. for Mr. Santy. Nice mic, says Morton. Well, thank you so much. Yes, I went down a little research and rabbit trail and came up with this. And I am quite pleased with it thus far. It is serving me well. And so I thank the generosity of my patrons who have made this possible. Santy says, is that a pink camo shirt? It is indeed. It is pink digital camo for those of you who anticipate blending in absolutely nowhere but looking fabulous while we do it. It is so lovely to see all of you here this morning. I didn't know if I was going to have any audience at all or a unaccustomedly large one. And we seem to be on the larger side of normal for us here in the library. And I am just tickled as pink as my shirt. Wow, that slurp probably came through loud and clear on my new mic too. Just coffee. All righty. Paul says it looks and sounds cool. Thank you so much. I think it does too. Grumpy Old Dude is in the chat. Hey, Ed, welcome. Grumpy Old Dude just recently subscribed to the channel. He and I met through the amazing Super Chris's channel over at the Daily Atheist Morning Show. He says he's got this playing, but he's working on other stuff. I completely understand, Ed. I completely understand. I don't take offense to that at all in the slightest. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. Early bird junk shop. Yeah, well, you never know when we're going to go live here in the library, do you? Sometimes it's in the middle of the damn night. Sometimes it's first thing in the morning. Sometimes it's, well, I mean, first thing in the morning for me. I'm a night owl, so this, I had to get up nice and early this morning because I needed to make sure and catch the Daily Atheist morning show because the ever amazing Chris Andrews was on there, and they weren't no way in hell I was going to let my lazy ass sleep through that. All right, let's see. I'm trying to think if there was more housekeeping. I did the important stuff. I thanked my patrons. I told what we do here in the library for the benefit of anybody watching now or after the fact who doesn't know. So that out of the way, I think we're going to go ahead and launch into the good book. Now that, oh, grumpy old dude working the system. Thank you, my friend. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I've done similar things once or twice myself, and I am not too proud to admit it. All right, so we are now, believe it or not, into the book of 1 Kings. And today, I took the liberty of glancing ahead just to make sure that what I had interpreted from the last chapter was indeed coming up in this chapter. And sure enough, we're about to kill old man David. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to miss him in the slightest fucking bit, because I have grown to dislike Mr. David to an extent I didn't think it was possible to dislike a fictional character, except maybe for Yahweh. So, 1 Kings, chapter 2, verse 1 and follow. Wow, that is some glare on my glasses. Check out my fancy new ring light. I look like a cartoon. Alrighty, chapter 2. Smite. Yes, Morton. Hopefully so, hopefully so. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and shew thyself a man. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself. That the Lord may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, If thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. Moreover, thou knowest also what Joab the son of Zeruiah did to me, and what he did to the two captains of the hosts of Israel, unto Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Jether, whom he slew, and shed the blood of war in peace, and put the blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and in his shoes that were on his feet. Do therefore according to thy wisdom, and let not his hoar head go down to the grave in peace. But shew kindness unto the sons of Barzillai the Gileadite, and let them be of those that eat at thy table. For so they came to me when I fled because of Absalom thy brother. And behold, thou hast with thee Shimei the son of Gera, a Benjamite of Bahurim, which cursed me with a grievous curse in the day when I went to Mahanaim. But he came down to meet me at Jordan, and I swear to him by the Lord, saying, I will not put thee to death with the sword. Now, therefore, hold thou him guiltless. For thou art a wise man, and knowest what thou oughtest to do unto him. But his hoar head bring thou down to the grave with blood. So David slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David. And the days that... Oh, wow, we got people coming up in the chat. Hello, Brainbug. Hello, Robert X. Hello, Angie. Let me just scroll back up real quick and make sure I'm not missing anybody. Doodly doodly doo doo doo. No, I think I've called everybody out so far. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. 7 years reigned he in Hebron, and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. Then sat Solomon upon the throne of David his father, and his kingdom was established greatly. And Adonijah the son of Haggith came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon. And she said, Comest thou peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. He said, Moreover, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And she said, Say on. And he said, Thou knowest that the kingdom was mine, and that all Israel set their faces on me, that I should reign. Howbeit the kingdom is turned about, and is become my brother's, for it was his from the Lord. And now I ask one petition of thee, deny me not. And she said unto him, Say on. And he said, Speak, I pray thee, unto Solomon the king, for he will not say thee nay, that he give me Abishag the Shunammite to wife. And Bathsheba said, Well, I will speak for thee unto the king. Bathsheba therefore went unto King Solomon, and she sat on his right hand. Then she said, I desire one small petition of thee, I pray thee, say me not nay. And the king said unto her, Ask on, my mother, for I will not say thee nay. And she said, Let Abishag the Shunammite be given to Adonijah thy brother to wife. And King Solomon answered and said unto his mother, And why dost thou ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adonijah? Ask for him the kingdom also, for he is mine elder brother, even for him, and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. Then King Solomon sware by the Lord, saying, God do so to me, and more also, if Adonijah have not spoken this word against his own life. Now therefore, as the Lord liveth, which hath established me, and set me on the throne of David my father, and who hath made me an house, as he promised, Adonijah shall be put to death this day. And King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and he fell upon him that he died. And unto Abiathar the priest said the king, Get thee to Anathoth into thine own fields, for thou art worthy of death. But I will not at this time put thee to death, because thou bearest the ark of the Lord God before David my father, and because thou hast been afflicted in all wherein my father was afflicted. So Solomon thrust out Abiathar from being priest unto the Lord, that he might fulfill the word of the Lord, which he spake according to the house of Eli in Shiloh. Then tidings came to Joab, for Joab had turned after Adonijah, though he turned not after Absalom. And Joab fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord, and caught hold on the horns of the altar. And it was told King Solomon that Joab was fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord, and behold, he is by the altar. Then Solomon sent Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, saying, Go, fall upon him. And Benaiah came to the tabernacle of the Lord, and said unto him, Thus saith the king, Come forth. And he said, Nay, but I will die here. And Benaiah brought the king word again, saying, Thus saith Joab, and thus he answered me. And the king said unto him, Do as he hath said, and fall upon him, and bury him, that thou mayest take away the innocent blood which Joab shed from me, and from the house of my father. And the Lord shall return his blood upon his own head, who fell upon 2 men more righteous and better than he, and slew them with the sword, my father David not knowing thereof, to wit Abner the son of Ner, captain of the host of Israel, and Amasa the son of Jether, captain of the host of Judah. Their blood shall therefore return upon the head of Joab, and upon the head of his seed forever. But upon David, and upon his seed, and upon his house, and upon his throne, there shall be peace forever from the Lord. So Benaiah the son of Jehoiada went up, and fell upon him, and slew him, and he was buried in his own house in the wilderness. And the king put Benaiah the son of Jehoiada in his room over the host, and Zadok the priest did the king put in the room of Abiathar. And the king sent and called for Shimei, and said unto him, Build thee an house in Jerusalem, and dwell there, and go not forth thence any whither. For it shall be that on the day thou goest out, and passest over the brook Kidron, thou shalt know for certain that thou shalt surely die. Thy blood shall be upon thine own head. And Shimei said unto the king, The saying is good. As my lord the king hath said, so will thy servant do. And Shimei dwelt in Jerusalem many days. And it came to pass at the end of 3 years that 2 of the servants of Shimei ran away unto Achish the son of Maacha, the son of the king of Gath. And they told Shimei, saying, Behold, thy servants be in Gath. And Shimei rose and saddled his ass, and went to Gath, to Achish, to seek his servants. And Shimei went and brought his servants from Gath. And it was told Solomon that Shimei had gone from Jerusalem to Gath, and was come again. And the king sent and called for Shimei, and said unto him, Did I not make thee swear by the Lord, and protested unto thee, saying, Know for a certain on the day thou goest out, and walkest abroad any whither, that thou shalt surely die? And thou saidst unto me, The word which I have heard is good. Why then hast thou not kept the oath of the Lord, and the commandment that I have charged thee with? The king said moreover to Shimei, Thou knowest all the wickedness which thine heart is privy to, that thou didst to David my father. Therefore the Lord shall return thy wickedness upon thine own head. And King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established before the Lord forever. So the king commanded Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, which went out, and fell upon him, and he died. And the kingdom was established in the hand of Solomon. And there we have 1 Kings chapter 2. Possibly the bloodiest chapter, not to include the word smite. I had to work it in somehow. Brainbug says the new mic sounds amazing. Thank you. Thank you indeed, my friend. Morton points out that yes, now we can really hear all the smiting. We got to make sure and work in some smite, especially with Angie being here. She loves the smiting. Scroll back up through the chat because I saw it go blurring past whilst I was reading. I was just afraid of losing my place. Linda says she has a Patreon, but she never tells us. Well, cat's out of the bag now. Let's see. I saw Robert X come in. Just in time for some smiting. Paul says, yes, welcome aboard, and thank you so much, both of you, for your great generosity. It means the world, and as I mentioned before, I think before Brainbug came in, that's why we sound so good here in the library today. Let us see. And, yeah, Morton says, Angie, no, you got way too close to being smitten. No more of that, please. Everybody greeting. The Lord has a screw loose, says Robert X. Yes. Yes, a little bit. Just a smidgen. And Dave. Welcome, Dave. Hello. All right, we got all kind of places represented here in the library today. I love it. An international audience. All righty, and now we got licking and spanking going on in the chat. Okay, I'm walking away from that. Let's see. So, in this chapter, and you know what? I'm going to try, yeah, Grumpy Old Dude says, wow, you got all the cool kids watching. I know. I love it. I do love it so. All right, we're going to try something just a little bit different today. If anybody, hang on, I got to open another tab real quick. Hopefully my poor long-suffering computer will survive me doing that. There we go. I can close that one. And switch back to that one. All right. I'm going to see if I can take Paul's idea and bring it to life. Paul and I were talking the other day, and he suggested bringing on occasional guests into improv Bible study. If you've got comments, rants, disputations, allegations, what have you, about any given passage that we read, shoot me a DM on Twitter, and I will do my best to figure out how to send you the link. I think I know how to do that now. And if you want to come in and talk about a given passage that we're going to see if we can make that work. Because I kind of like the idea. I just don't know if I can bring it to life with my admittedly limited grasp of technology. But I do like the idea. Paul says he'll skip. He's in the bath. That's all right. Yeah, we'll accept that as a correct answer. Alrighty, so in chapter 2, we finally get to bury Mr. David, not in the tomb of his fathers, which is what we are accustomed to hearing when one of our protagonists dies. But in what is now being called the City of David, in Jerusalem, what will hitherto be known as the City of David, place where Mr. David decided to set up camp and rule over the various tribes from. I don't love the way that sentence came out, but I don't know how to save it. Oh, y'all pardon me. It's still oak tree season. Still. Gonna be for a while. So before he kicks the bucket, Mr. David turns to Mr. Linda, I will throw that up on the screen. Unsurprisingly, a bit of tea and Danish. Thank you, Linda. Always feel free to shill y'all's stuff, by the way. Alrighty. Yeah, we're here for the community. I'm here for the community. I know I go on about that at some length sometimes, but it really is my favorite thing about this endeavor, is having met so many different and interesting people from so many different and varied places. It's fantastic, and I love it. Never had family nor friends in Denmark before. Or for that matter, England. Or for that matter, Texas. Very insular little place is the library. There's not a lot of outreach going on until the channel started up. All right, so before David kicks the bucket, he calls his son Solomon, who is now going to be king over Israel instead of his big brother Adonijah, because David done promised Bathsheba. You remember, she who was the wife of Uriah the Hittite. And so now he calls Solomon before him. Oh, Ed, thank you so much, and thank you to your wife Amber. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. He calls his the younger of his two sons that are being talked about right now in, and essentially gives him the rundown of who is to be spared and who is to be smited. Smitten? Smited. Who he wishes his son Solomon to smite. And then he dies. And Solomon takes the throne and takes the reins and puts one of his father's adversaries under house arrest and has the rest of them be smoked. And there you have it. Just coffee. I'm gonna have to make a crawler for that. Alrighty. And then, was it Shimei? Yes, it was Shimei. After 3 years' time, smoted? Maybe? I don't know. It's been a while since I declined a verb in the English of 1611. Could be. And, where was I going? Oh, yes, Shimei's servants. After 3 years of being cooped up in the new house, you notice he didn't... Uh-oh. Uh-oh, grumpy old dude is, uh-oh, what happened? What happened? Did we lose signal? Or Germany. That's right, Robert X. Sorry, I missed that as it went by. Or German. And, sorry. Okay, trying to do... My second screen gives me more notifications than my laptop even. Okay, so after 3 years of living in the new house that Solomon instructed Shimei to build... Tony Designs! Welcome, my friend. Hello, hello. Everybody is here today, and I love it. Okay. Yeah, weird little aside there. I'm not clear on where Shimei was living before, but David insists that he come into the city. So I guess presumably he was living outside the city. Anyway, insists that he come into the city and build a house there and confine himself there under house arrest and threat of death. Hello, Maya. Welcome. All the cool kids are in the chat. I'm here for it. I feel so loved. I really do, y'all. It's amazing. And, but after 3 years of being cooped up in the brand new house, 2 of Shimei's servants have had enough. No more, say 2 nameless servants of Shimei. And they run off, not just out of the city, but across the river and through the woods and round the bend and over the hill and clear off to Gath, hometown of Goliath. Could scarcely be a more symbolic fleeing from the reign of the son of David. The actual son of David, not the literal one, which is, not the figurative one, rather, which is how we're, those of us who grew up in churches, at least in Protestant churches, I can vouch for, son of David is usually a title reserved for Jesus, but we're talking about the literal son of David, King Solomon. Not yet wise. Ah, thank you. Hitting the like. Yes, thank you indeed. Thank you so much. And if you can, I know it's hard on mobile. I don't know who's on mobile and who's on real computer. Link this out. Share this out on your various medias do social. See if there's anybody who would like to join us that has not yet joined us. Yes. Morton says, spank that like button. I mean, you're here, so you might as well. True. It will cost you nothing, which I'm sure will be good news for you. It is the Daily Atheist. The amazing Super Chris is in the chat. Welcome, my friend. Welcome, welcome. All right. And Grumpy Old Dude points out, hit the notification bell, which is something I always forget to ask people to do. All right. So, in a gesture that could hardly be more symbolic, the 2 servants of Shimei flee to Gath, home of the ancestral home of the, I almost want to say victim, but the loser of David's first great military encounter, Goliath the giant, who also had giant sons and fathered his own brother, if the text is to be believed as it lies. And when word of this gets back to Shimei, Shimei realizes it will reflect very poorly on him to have his property, because remember, servants are property. They're not quite as much property as wives and concubines are property, but they're still property. It will reflect poorly on him, close parenthesis. It will reflect quite poorly on him that some of his property has fled unto Gath, so he saddles his ass and heads off after them. Doesn't send word to them, makes the mistake of going after them himself. He fetches his servants back from Gath and locks himself up in his house again and assumes that everything will be all right. And it would have been had not King Solomon got wind of his little excursion. Not just across the Kidron, but all the way over to Gath. And he has him he smites him for it. Smites him dead. Follow instructions, damn it. Where do you think we are? All right. And there was that weirdness about, who was it? Was it Adonijah? Who was it who oh, Joab. Joab fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord. Yeah. Joab, against whom I think we can smitten. Yes, probably so, Brainbug. Thank you. Joab, who, lest we forget, has more than a little blood on his hands, including the blood of Absalom, the used-to-be eldest son of David, whom he stabbed in the heart with 3 arrows and then had 10 of his people come a-smiting after him until Absalom, hanging from his hair in a tree, was good and dead. Not just a little bit dead, but super dead. And Mr. Joab did his best to keep that news from King David, but it didn't work out that way. But King David, with all of the logic and reason that we've come to expect of the old man, for some reason swore that Mr. Joab would be okay, at least until the death of King David. So, of course, one of the last things King David does on this earth is make his son Solomon swear by the Lord that he will smite Mr. Joab as soon as he gets the chance. So Mr. Joab gets word of this, and he runs to the tabernacle and claims sanctuary, laying hold of the horns of the altar. And when Benaiah goes on his mission of murder, he gets to the tabernacle and finds out that Joab done gone and claimed sanctuary there. So he goes back to Solomon and says, here's the thing. Joab done gone and claimed sanctuary in the tabernacle. And King Solomon turns to him and says, kill him anyway. So he does. So, King David's barely cold in the ground, and Mr. Solomon done already embarked on his reign of terror. And with that, we wrap up the 2nd chapter of the 1st book of the Kings. I think it was Maya in the chat pointed out what a great show that was this morning, Chris, and it really was. That was a bit of a coup having Mr. Andrews on. I congratulate you, my friend. Well done indeed. and had I don't know how many people in the chat. Good Lord. Ended up being like 40 at one point. Jiminy Cricket. All right, so the reign of terror of Solomon begins, and I think we're going to roll on into chapter 3. We got a bunch, whoops, and that's why you have a shock mount on your mic, so if you whack into the table by mistake, you don't get too much of a thubbity-thubbity-thub-bum-bum. All right. I am deep into the territory with which I am totally fucking unfamiliar. Because I do not remember the story of Solomon's rampage of death after the enemies of David, his father, at all. Solomon was only known to me back in my Sunday school and churching days because of the prayer for wisdom and because of the, you know, the story about the 2 women and the baby. And having, what was it, like 3 billion wives. That's all, and she found her earbuds in the rubble. That's fucking amazing. Good, good. Sorry to hear about your laptop, though. I know you had hope that might have survived, but it's more important that y'all survived. I'm way less stressed about the laptop, and I know that's easy to say after the fact and from the other side of the fucking country. Chris has only picked up 1 new sub? That's, wow. Yes, I do know how that goes. I do indeed. All right. Chapter 3. We'll keep on rolling on into the story of King Solomon. And Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David, until he had made an end of building his own house, and the house of the Lord, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord until those days. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father, only he sacrificed burnt incense in high places. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon that altar. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream, by night. And God said, Ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, Thou hast shewed unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. Now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child, I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people which thou hast chosen, a great people, that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give, therefore, thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, Because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, neither hast asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. And I have also given thee that which... Great googly moogly. Apparently it's garbage day. Sorry about that, y'all. I've also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. And if thou wilt walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem, and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight, and took my son from beside her, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before it, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in 2, and give half to the one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine or thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. And there we have chapter 3. Scroll back up and see. Yes, you know, I see everybody. Yes, I do not have enough mods, and Angie's on her phone, so yeah, let's see. We've got to, hang on, let me see if I can do this here. Okay, I think that's right. And I don't know if, hang on, scroll. I thought, yep, Dave, we've got Dave as a moderator. No offense to anybody who's not being moderatored right now. It's only become recently that I've started to draw audiences like this, and I hadn't, you know, honestly, it hadn't occurred to me. I've modded a couple of, modded? Is that the lingo? I have made moderator of a few folk along the way. It just hadn't been a thing. There we go. Modded. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And yes, I don't want to be prejudiced against half of my Danes. There we go. All right. No offense to anybody else. I sincerely hope offense is not taken. What in the world? Sorry, there's almighty chaos going on over in the goldfish tank, and I don't know what's going on. Oh, and Paul is Paul not? No, you're not. I'm sorry. Yes, definitely. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm not going to, unless anybody has a burning desire, I'm not going to spend, honestly, too much time on this chapter, because this is all I know about Solomon, really, and it was beaten into us as, I mean, not literally beaten into us. I didn't grow up Catholic. But it was not. I mean, I was tired of hearing this story by the time I was like pubescent. You know, it's one of those, especially if you grow up in a praying kind of denomination, and improvisational praying. I mean, you, my God, they beat you over the head with this fucking story. You know, make sure you pray for the good things. Make sure you pray for the right things. Make sure you don't pray for the selfish things. And to drive that point home, here's the story of Solomon, son of David, who prayed for wisdom instead of long life or the death of his enemies or great riches. And God gave him all that shit anyway because he wished for the right thing. And it's just, I don't know. It's not that. It's one of those stories that's only really interesting if you're in the faith, as far as I'm concerned. And then, okay, I don't know. I tend to see, I'm in the South. I'm in the deep South in the Bible Belt. And so I tend to assume that everybody was brought up like me, you know, deep in the church with these stories bashed into their brains. Well, if ever there was an Old Testament story, aside from, you know, most of the stuff in Genesis and Exodus, if ever there was a story that was bludgeoned into us for no readily discernible reason, it was the story of Solomon threatening to chop the baby in half. What was left out was that the two women were harlots. I had either not known that or had forgotten that until now. Probably why they weren't named. You'd think they'd be. I mean, you'd think. I mean, this seems, since this is the story that spread like fucking wildfire throughout Israel and made everybody fear Solomon the king, because it was because of his great wisdom and awesome judgment. You'd think they would have. You'd think. I mean, you'd think they'd have fucking names, y'all. Except that not only are they women, but they're women of ill repute, and Lord knows, there's nothing Yahweh hates as much as well, women, right? I mean, there's a reason. If you go to the homepage of this channel, the pinned video is the one called God is a Disgusting Misogynist and I Can Prove It, and the header I've got over that is "This is who we are." Because that's, I mean, these are the things that I strive to point out, is the grotesque, the grotesqueries of this book. Yeah, Morton says, you get a name, you get a name, you get a name too. Everybody gets a name, not you, you're a harlot. You know, I mean, this God character really, really don't like ladies. It's aggressive. It's positively aggressive how much this God does not like the ladies. You know, to the extent to which, as we find out in the video I was mentioning a moment ago, that you're actually, that if you give birth, if you are a person who can give birth, if you give birth, you are unclean for, I don't remember exactly how long it is, but if you give birth to a girl child, you are ritually unclean for twice as long as if you give birth to a boy child. And this kind of this rampant shrieking misogyny continues all throughout life. You know, buy and sell women as property, take women as spoils of war. You know, apparently you don't get a name if you're a woman who has the outright fucking audacity to own your sexuality. God forbid. I mean, that's probably why that aspect of the story went. I mean, among other things, they'd have to have taught us in second grade what a harlot was, and that would have been a whole conversation. So this is the Solomon is a smart fucker chapter. And there's not really anything else going on in there besides that, except to explain his great, I'm sorry, this just fucking occurred to me, explain his great wealth, which God gave him because he had the good sense to ask for wisdom instead of riches, so God gave him riches just the same. Wow. Sorry, there was a Bible story song that I was taught as a small child that I've now got running through my head about Solomon. God, that's going to be in my head for a fucking week. Thank you so much, upbringing. They're all catchy. You know, all those stupid songs are catchy. And you know who we blame for that? Martin fucking Luther. There's a famous Martin Luther quote, "Why should the devil have all the good tunes?" Which is why he set so many of the hymns and songs of worship that he wrote to popular drinking songs in his area at the time. Trivia. It's what you come here for, right? All right. Let's see. We've been going 53 minutes. What do you think? Another chapter? I'm kind of feeling another chapter. How about y'all? We got 13 people. We got 13 people here. Brainbug prefers Slayer. Yes. Real music. Rock. Well, I'm feeling another chapter. If you're not feeling another chapter, I suppose you could leave. I'm just having way too much fun today, y'all. I hope y'all are as well. Morton says another chapter and then 15 more after that. I don't know about that, Morton. Or we just finished 3, rather. So chapter 4. I don't know. We've got, what in heaven's name is going on in my chat? Okay, if that's honest love, then I certainly thank you. Catalan, I don't know what you're going on about, to be honest. Philip! Welcome, Philip. New Age Metalist, I don't know you. Please stop spamming the chat with exactly the same thing over and over. That's just rude. Don't do that. Be better. Thanks, y'all. Best mods on the net. I hate doing that, but we got to maintain order. Oh, hey, Faye. Welcome. There's a lot of message deleted things, and I don't get why. We got, we attracted the trolls, apparently. Yeah. sonogli incerti del mestiere. These are the risks of the job. All right, chapter 4. So King Solomon was king over all Israel, and these were the princes which he had: Azariah the son of Zadok the priest, Elihoreph and Ahiah the sons of Shisheh, scribes, Jehoshaphat the son of Elihud the recorder, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the host, and Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. And Azariah the son of Nathan was over the officers, and Zabud the son of Nathan was the principal officer and king's friend. And Abishar was over the household, and Adoniram the son of Abda was over the tribute. And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man his month in a year made provision. And these are their names. Oh boy. The son of Hur in Mount Ephraim, the son of Dakar in Makaz and in Shaalbim, and Beth Shemesh and Elon Beth Hanan. The son of Hesed in Aruboth, to him pertains Socho and the land of Hefer. The son of Abinadab in all the region of Dor, which had Tapha, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. Baanah, the son of Ahilud, to him pertained Taanach and Megiddo, and all Beth Shean, which is by Zartanah beneath Jezreel, from Beth Shean to Abel Meholah, even unto the place that is beyond Jokneam. The son of Geber in Ramoth Gilead, to him pertained the towns of Jair the son of Manasseh, which are in Gilead. To him also pertained the region of Argob, which is in Bashan, 80 great cities and walls and brazen bars. Ahinadab the son of Edo had Mahanaim. Ahimaaz was in Naphtali. He also took Basmath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. Baanah the son of Hushai was in Asher and in Aloth. Jehoshaphat the son of Paruah in Issachar, Shimei the son of Elah in Benjamin, Geber the son of Uri was in the country of Gilead, in the country of Sihon king of the Amorites, and of Og king of Bashan, and he was the only officer which was in the land. Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines, and unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents, and served Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour, and 80 measures of meal, 10 fat oxen, and 20 oxen out of the pastures, and 100 sheep, beside harts and roebucks, and fallow deer, and fatted fowl. For he had dominion over all the region on this side the river, from Tifsah even to Azah, over all the kings on this side the river, and he had peace on all sides round about him. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon, and for all that came to King Solomon's table, every man in his month. They lacked nothing. Barley also, and straw for the horses and dromedaries brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Chalcol, and Darda the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. And there we have chapter 4. Oh, riveting chapter 4. All right, let's scroll. Santi asks, where is Julie? Julie is asleep. Julie did not sleep at all last night and is making up for it. You creeping thing, you. Yes, indeed. Let me scroll. Okay, back up to... Yeah, Morton, good timing with more mods. Indeed. Tony says, you've made it on YouTube when you have a dedicated troll. Indeed. I'm kind of tickled, actually. Tony speaks truth, says Maya. Congrats. Thank you. Thank you indeed. Yeah, Brainbug points out that I enlisted new mods just in time. Yes, thank you for... I'm drawing a blank now on who it was, but thank you to whoever suggested that, because, yeah, that was just in the nick of time. Everyone is here. Yes, indeedy. Santi finally got a laptop. All right. Let's see. Paul says he's on Twitter. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can find you on Twitter, my friend. Let's see. I wonder if it's going to be this easy. Zooks. I hope I don't crash nothing. Nope, that ain't it. Oh, great. Got now. Thank you, Angie. Now I got Riders on the Storm stuck in my head. That's better than what I had earlier, so I can deal with that. Riders on the Storm. Philip says he never could say those names. Yeah, well, I had a lot of practice when I was a kid. David Worley is in the house. Hello, Mr. David. How are you doing today? Fantastic. We started off the stream saying all the cool kids were here, and the cool kids just kept on rolling in. It's awesome. Yeah, Philip. Hello. I'm sorry if I missed you earlier, Philip. I'm doing quite well. How about yourself? I'm maybe a little too highly caffeinated, but I'm in a great mood and I'm feeling fine. I hope you are well, my friend. Paul, I tried to find you on Twitter, and I found somebody with your name who is 100% definitely not you. Can you shoot me a DM? I'm the same over there as I am everywhere else, just at JunkshopLibrary. I'm sorry, this is a brand new endeavor for me. I should have done a trial run of this in the middle of the night before trying to go live with it. David says, howdy y'all, Ocean will have video up soon on an update to my situation. The DaveCon situation? Or is there something else going on that I missed? Wonder Lady says her arms hurt. Oh no! Did you do too much scrubbing of something, or did you sleep on them wrong? Sorry to hear that, though, regardless. Ah, Philip said he did that once on Camp Coffee at a Civil War reenactment. That is cool. I saw a couple of those when I was a kid. That was just vastly interesting. I remember they had black powder rifle demonstrations and all kind of stuff. Something I've likely missed. Okay. Well, I will make sure and check out Ocean's video on it. So, okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I got carried away chatting to folks, and well, y'all know how it is. I've already done the bit about how much I love the community aspect of this, so I'm not going to go on that rant again, but y'all know it's true. Okay, so chapter 4 is boring as dry toast. Just is. Angie's got to go get lunch for the youngins. All right, Angie, take care. We'll see you again. Love you too. Take care. What is today? Is today... I don't guess you'll be doing afternoon delight if you're having this much trouble with internet. Okay, so chapter 4 essentially only exists to put... to place the beginning of Solomon's reign on the timeline and to establish that he's rich as fuck. And also that there was peace in the land. All of those are good things, and I suppose will become important later at some point. I was talking earlier about the riches, and then I let myself get distracted by myself. Y'all know how I get. I ramble. It's how I roll. Try sending the link to Discord if I can on Twitter. That's worth a shot. Copy. Close. All right, let me try that. Okie dokie. Oh shoot! I've never used it on desktop before. I wonder if there's. Is there an easy way to do this? I bet there's not an easy way to do this. What fun would that be? All right, let me try this real quick. I don't want to get too bogged down in the technical stuff. It will absolutely murder. But y'all are all going to leave. That's what I'm afraid of, really. Message. There we go. All right. I'm going to try just typing this in manually. Good luck to me. Why do I have a Christmas song in my head? Yikes. Okay, stop it. Junk Shop fights with technology. Yay! Okay, we will see if that works. I appreciate you being my guinea pig for this. Discord always makes me sign in, says Faye, so I never go on. I've got the app on my phone, and that's the only way that I use it. I only found out you could use it on a desktop quite recently. Julie actually figured that out before I did, and she's in multiple online Dungeons and Dragons games and uses the Discord for that. Careful not to smite the tech. Yeah, well, I tend to get smited by the tech, is tends to be how it goes. All right. So what was that? Oh, the riches of Solomon, the legendary riches of Solomon, and I mean, it's it. The fact that he was rich and that the kingdom was prosperous is going to become important later when they start describing how ornate is the temple of Solomon, which is only mentioned in this chapter as the house of the Lord that Solomon built, in addition to a house for himself. Which is a little bit weird, because one of the former, sorry, this is just now occurring to me too. There was a former leader of the chosen people who got into big trouble with God. Who, oh, there's Paul. For building a temple when God didn't ask for it. All right, let's see if this works. We're about to find out.
Hello, I can see
Success? You. Yes. It'd help if I turned up my volume, then I'd be able to hear you.
I'll get my headphones.
Okay. Welcome, Paul. Welcome on.
You've got the stream working good today.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's actually behaving for me once. For once.
Yeah, it hasn't jumped once. I'm just trying to get my headphones sorted. I'm on my mobile phone.
Understood. That's what I was doing at first when I was. That's what I was doing at first when I first started this. I was doing everything on my phone, which was convenient as far as convenient went, but limiting, severely limiting.
Can you hear me all right on this?
Yes, fantastic. You sound great.
All right, brilliant. Yeah, all right. Well, so we've sorted it out.
Yes, all right. And thank you for the idea. This would not have occurred to me just on my own. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll not keep it too long, because obviously you're still doing on with the chat. I just thought we could try it out and see if it worked, and it seems to be working good. So hello everybody that's in the chat.
Everybody say hello. This is Paul.
Right, I'll leave. I'll let you get on with your show. Now we've sussed it out, and I'll try and get on some other time, because I'm off to work shortly anyway. As you can probably tell, I don't normally dress like this.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, work safe and take care, my friend. And thank you for your help with all this.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks very much. Catch you all later. Bye.
All right. Bye. Cool. Okay, that worked. Amazing. Oh, the godless scummer fiasco. Yes, I heard about that. Julie was telling me about that either last night or today. I forget which. Because the days they run together now that calendar is obsolete for those of us stuck at home. Some people like Paul have to get out in this mess anyway, and I don't know if haven't made up my mind if I'm glad I'm not essential or not. I've never viewed myself as essential, but it's nice to have it confirmed. All right, enough of that, Junk Shop. All right, so the great riches of Solomon. What was I talking about? Oh, the former. Does anybody in the chat remember there was a former leader, and this would have been. God, this would have been back in Exodus or Leviticus. I mean, this is reaching back a ways. Anybody? Because I know there was somebody who got in trouble with God because he had the audacity to build God a house when God didn't ask for a house. And I think this may have been back during the wandering in the wilderness even. So, it was, wow. Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, probably not important. But now, God has decided that, or, well, we don't know that yet, do we? Oh, Mr. Shadow Kitty, welcome, my friend. Hello, hello. You know what? I can't say that because we don't know that. He has not yet been told to build the temple, so we don't know if this was a commissioned house of God or if this was Solomon taking it upon himself. I guess we'll find out later on in the Big Book of War Crimes and Outdated Regulations. Alrighty. Well, we've been going an hour and a quarter now. What do y'all think? Should we do another chapter? Or should we call it and leave it here? I will leave it to the chat. I could go either way. I really could go. I could almost flip a coin. The Norse myths were related. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I clicked on it. Let me try that again. There we go. The Norse myths are funnier than the Bible myths. That's true. Of course, there's Lars von Trier movies that are funnier than the Bible myths. So I don't know how much that is saying. No, Mr. Shadow Kitty, you did not miss the she-bears. That's quite a ways off, I think. I think we've got to get Solomon dead, and we've got to build the damn temple first, and that takes fucking forever, if memory serves. All right, well, the consensus of the respondents in the chat seems to be that we go a little bit further. Bible. Yeah, Faye, I figured that was what you meant, because otherwise it made no damn sense. All right, well, we'll roll on into Chapter 5 then, among other reasons, because nothing bloody happened in Chapter 4, and I found that annoying. Of course, y'all know me. I complain when stuff doesn't happen and say it's boring, and when stuff does happen, I complain about it. But that's always because it seems because it's always, you know, some horrible genocidal massacre or some gross misogynistic bull hockey. So, it's not really unjustified complaining that I do. Yeah, autocorrect is nobody's friend. I've been fighting with fucking autocorrect. Sorry, real quick aside regarding autocorrect. I read something absolutely brilliant on the internet the other day. Scary, right? You know how autocorrect is forever changing your swear words to duck and ducking? I get that a lot. Well, I haven't tried it yet, but I read a life hacky sort of thing that says that if you put a dummy number in your contacts and name it fucking, autocorrect thinks it's a proper name and won't correct you on it anymore. I got to give it a shot one of these days. All right, Chapter 5. Let's see what happens. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father, for Hiram was ever a lover of David. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, Thou knowest how that David my father could not build a house unto the name of the Lord his God, for the wars which were about him on every side, until the Lord put them under the sole of his feet. But now the Lord my God hath given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurrent. And behold, I purpose to build an house unto the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord spake unto David my father, saying, Thy son, whom I will set upon thy throne in thy room, he shall build an house unto my name. Now therefore command thou Now therefore command thou that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servants shall be with thy servants, and unto thee will I give hire for thy servants, according to all that thou shalt appoint. For thou knowest that there is not among us any that can skill to hew timber like unto the Sidonians. And it came to pass, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly, and said, Blessed be the Lord this day, which hath given unto David a wise son over this great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have considered the things which thou sentest to me for, and I will do all thy desire concerning timber of cedar, and concerning timber of fir. My servants shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I will convey them by sea in floats unto the place that thou shalt appoint me, and I will cause them to be discharged there, and thou shalt receive them, and thou shalt accomplish my desire in giving food for my household. So Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil. Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year. And the Lord gave Solomon wisdom, as he had promised him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and they two made a league together. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month, by courses. A month they were in Lebanon, and 2 months at home, and Adoniram was over the levy. And Solomon had 70,000 that bare burdens, and 70,000 hewers in the mountains. Beside the chief of Solomon's officers, which were over the work, 3,300, which ruled over the people that brought in the work. And the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and hewed stones, to lay the foundation of the house. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did hew them, and the stone squarers. So they prepared timber and stones to build the house. There we have the absolutely riveting 5th chapter of 1 Kings. See what's going on in the chat. Alright, the trolls are back. Well, Alex, if you don't care, then why the fuck are you here? Ain't nobody made you come in here. Can one of my mods kick these people out? Because this is rude. Squash that bug, says Mr. Shadow Kid. Yes. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, good. I appreciate that, y'all. Thank y'all so much for looking out for me. I appreciate it. I really do. Okie dokie. So, I did not like this chapter. And I tell you why. It's given me the fear. Shadow Kitty. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, Maya says, how horrible is your life that your greatest joy is pissing off complete strangers. Yeah, she ain't wrong. He's got too much time on his hands, says Robert X. Yeah, and you're not wrong either, my friend. Yeah, who has that kind of time to just go around copy-pasting comments into some random person's? I mean, he's not wrong. It's not the most riveting story, but nobody making him be here. Let's see. Okay, so what I was saying. I didn't like this chapter, and I tell you why. It gives me the fear. Because I'm afraid of what is to come. I'm afraid this is going to be like Deuteronomy. I mean, the first book of the Kings, you're expecting like great deeds and mighty men and stuff. And then the book starts out going to great pains to tell us that there's peace all around. So Solomon can finally build the house for God that he was never able to build, that was never able to be built during the reign of David his father, because they were constantly at war. You know, with the Philistines and with various of David's rebellious sons and with this and that and the other and Tom and Dick and Harry. And it started giving a lot of details and numbers. And whenever we get details and numbers, that's usually one of two things. It's the amount of people that were killed, or it's some tedious, painfully uninteresting, and they did thus and such, and they built thus and so, and this was built, and that was built, and this was gilded in gold, and the curious girdle of the ephod. Drink. Had a droplet left. Robert X points out, it's funny how such a mighty God always needs humans to do his work. Even during the imaginary flood, he needed humans to build the ark for him. Yeah, exactly. Supposedly omnipotent, but has to cheat at wrestling and can't even make his own fucking boat. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about this chapter other than that I fear very much that we're about to turn into Deuteronomy outre vase. That we're about to get excruciatingly detailed explanations of how Solomon... There is one thing to be said for this. How Solomon built the temple. There is one thing to be said for this, and that it's not in the format that it was in Deuteronomy. Because some of y'all, Brainbug has returned! Welcome back, my friend. The format that it was in Deuteronomy was instruction, repeated instruction, and recounting. God would say, I want you to do thus and such and build me such and so, to Moses. And then Moses would come down to the children of Israel and say, God wants you to build him thus and such and build him thus and so. And then the text would explain that the children of Israel made God thus and such and built him thus and so. And that's why it's been a year and a few months. It's been a year and a quarter, and we're only this far in. Because there's so much repetition. Robert X points out he could have snapped his fingers to remove all those bad people from the planet, but no, he had to take the hard way. Yeah, God's never a fan of the easy way to do anything, it seems. It's always got to be the long way, the boring way, the tedious way. This is not the most interesting character, Yahweh. He's awful. And he's not smart. I don't know, y'all. This is about to be really uninteresting. I'm very much afraid. Now, fortunately, we're not going to get into it today, so we're not going to scare everybody off for the last 20 minutes of the video. But we've been, God Almighty, we've been going an hour and a half. Time flies when you're having fun. Hey, Doorknob Head, welcome to the very end of the stream, The Death of David. Disturbing title in this time of the virus. Then, oh yeah, it's the Read Dark Fairy Tales channel. Indeed. Alrighty. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up here while everybody's still, still relatively bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and hadn't been beaten down too much by the kind of detail I fear cometh. Yeah, Robert says, you would almost think, but of course you have to be wrong, you would almost think God was invented by humans, right? You almost would. It's almost like he was just made up. Like he doesn't actually have a personality or an existence or anything. Brainbug says, leave them wanting. And Brainbug is correct. We don't want to leave anybody. We don't want to have people leaving in boredom. We want to have people coming back wanting more. So, we're going to close out here just past the 90-minute mark. I already said time flies when you're having fun, didn't I? I'm out of coffee. So, I hope everybody had a good time. Trolls aside. Doorknob didn't get a chapter. Yes, you are correct. Doorknob's just going to have to go back and watch from the beginning and come back and see us next time. Maybe spend more time on Discord. If you get your notifications on, you get a little notification every time one of these drops. Unfortunately, then sometimes you end up with a day like the other day when I was troubleshooting and tech-ing, and notifications went out like 5 separate times that I had released a video or was going live, and it was just me fighting the technology. Dang it! Ain't nobody crying. Go wait. Leave me alone. Somebody kick him out. Thank you. Grumpy old, there it is. Grumpy old dude said, did you know the ephod also held the Urim and the Thummim? I had forgotten. That was a long time ago. I had forgotten that, but you are correct. It did indeed. Thanks, Dave. All right. Yep. We're going to wrap it, and we'll see y'all again next time. This is apparently a good time of day for this, so I will certainly bear that in mind, because a lot of I've got way more people in here than I'm accustomed to, and it's kind of awesome. I love having so many people to bounce this stuff off of. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for liking. And to all my new mods in the chat, I appreciate your work so very much. And Hitaro, I don't know who you are, but that's just rude. Not just to me, but to people who legitimately are hospitalized due to serious issues. So, stop it or go away. And we'll see you next time, everybody. As always, take care, be safe, fight against hate, and wash your hands. End broadcast. Yes. Oh, thank you, Doorknob Head. Snazzy. Thank you. End broadcast. Yes. Check box. I'll tell you that story someday.